is the Writer's Almanac for Saturday. It's the 19th of September, 2020. It was on this date in 1940, a Polish soldier named Witold Pilecki allowed himself to be captured by the Nazis. He was a captain in the Polish resistance, and he wanted to find out what was going on near the town of Auschwitz. His superiors thought it was just a German camp for prisoners of war, but Pilecki suspected that something else was happening. So he joined a group of Polish citizens who were being rounded up by Nazis. Pilecki, leaving behind a wife and 2 young children, was taken to Auschwitz. He was given a number, 4859, and he soon realized that this was a Nazi death camp. He stayed there for 3 years. He smuggled out detailed reports of what was happening, reported on the gas chambers and the ovens to dispose of human remains. And his reports were so horrific that nobody in the Polish underground believed him. His reports made their way to the British and the Americans. He suggested ways to liberate the camp, but still nothing was done. Finally, in 1943, Pilecki, frustrated by the lack of action, faked a case of typhus. He escaped from the hospital. After the war, the Polish underground recruited him to spy on the Soviets, and he was captured by the Polish communist regime, executed for espionage in 1948. It's the birthday of the essayist and editor Roger Angell, born in New York City in 1920, who grew up with the New Yorker magazine. His mother was the magazine's first fiction editor. She divorced his father, and she married the New Yorker essayist E.B. White. Roger Angell became a fiction editor at the magazine in 1956, still a senior editor, edited the stories of John Updike, Donald Barthelme, Vladimir Nabokov, and in 1962 he told the editor, William Shawn, about baseball spring training, which Shawn had never heard of, and sent Roger Angell to Florida on assignment. And it was the beginning of Roger Angell's long career writing about the sport. He said, sports writers weren't supposed to be fans, but I would write in the first person about my own emotions, which you were not supposed to do. People used to laugh at me because my World Series pieces came so late, sometimes after Thanksgiving. But Shawn didn't have a sense of deadline. Shawn thought, everybody knows what the news is, now tell us something else about it. Roger Angell said about baseball, it's a great game for writers because it's just the right pace. You can watch the game and keep score and look around and take notes. Now and then, you even have time to have an idea, which in many sports you don't have room for. Here's a poem for today by Maxine Cummin, entitled Game. Before he died, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, gunned down in Sarajevo to jumpstart World War I, bragged he had shot 3,000 stags and a miscellany of foxes, geese, wolves, and boars driven toward him by beaters, stout men he ordered to flush creatures from their cover into his sights, a tradition the British aristocracy carried on, further aped by rich Americans from Teddy R. to Ernest H., something Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, pudgy son of Sicilian immigrants, indulged in when, years later, he had scores of farm-raised birds beaten from their cages and scared up for him to shoot down, which brought him an inner joy. What happened to him when he was a boy? A poem entitled Game by Maxine Cummin from Where I Live, New and Selected Poems, 1990 to 2010, published by W.W. Norton & Company and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Funded by donations from listeners like you. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.